I am so excited for our guest today. We have Tiffany Slater. You might know her as T Slater on Instagram and on YouTube. And Tiffany, I wanted you to come on the show today, first of all, because I'm so thankful that I stumbled across your YouTube. You have it's titled How to Make Six Figures as a Speech Pathologist. So you know I had to click it and see what we had to talk about there. So I had to bring you on here because I noticed that as speech pathologists, especially BIPOC species, we struggle with our money mindset. And honestly, just like what I told you before, the way that you explained how to make six figures as a speech pathologist, it seems so easy, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Hey, so I'm going to go ahead and read your bio. And then if there's anything I'm missing, let me know.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So Tiffany Slater is a native of Columbus, Georgia. She attended Troy University, earned a bachelor's of science degree in broadcast journalism with a minor in leadership development. Tiffany attended Auburn University and earned a bachelor's of science degree in communication disorders. She attended Armstrong State University and earned a master's of science degree in communication and sciences disorders. Tiffany attended Virginia University at Lynchburg and earned her doctoral degree in healthcare administration. Currently, she practices as a speech pathologist at Level 2 Trauma Hospital. After completing her master's degree, Tiffany had $18,000 in credit card debt and $6,000 in car loan debt. She decided she no longer wanted to live paycheck to paycheck, so she committed to living like no one else so later she could live like no one else, in Dave Ramsey's voice. Now, Tiffany is passionate about sharing her love for speech therapy and finances with other young professionals. Tiffany, that was a fabulous bio. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think that covers mostly everything.
And it really does. And I really want to appreciate you also for your transparency about credit card and car loan debt, because I feel that there's just so much shame about debt in general. We get out of school and then we're in debt, and then we go through school, we're in debt. So I'm so excited to hear your perspective today on the show. Can you tell us? My first question actually is, what is your why? Why did you start your brand? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have always considered myself a servant leader, and I've always wanted to, be in a career, do something that allow me to use these gifts and talents that my heavenly Father, has blessed me with. He has equipped me with these gifts, and so I, decided. Well, I didn't know that I was going to be a speech therapist, right? I thought I was going to be like a journalism. However, God had other plans, so I became a speech language pathologist, and I just wanted to share more about our field with other people because I feel like being a speech therapist is a hidden gem. Like a lot of people, they know about physical therapy, they know about occupational therapy, they know about being a teacher or a nurse, but a lot of people, they do not know what, being a speech language pathologist, like what does that all entail? Like our scope is so wide. Like we can do a lot of things, like we target a lot of disorders, we work in a lot of different settings, and so I just wanted to bring like more awareness to our field. So I decided to create the Instagram page, create the YouTube, to just share more about what we do with others.
Yes, and that you do, because could you actually tell us a little bit about the challenge that you're on now? Because you're on day two, you're
Like
in the 200s, right?
yes, like
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
Absolutely. So every day I just make like a different affirmation, a money affirmation. So we hear about affirmations when it comes to like our health or our mental, but I wanted to make a money affirmation because like I'm so passionate about getting out of debt. Like I do not want to owe anyone any money. So every day I just have different affirmations that I post. Like an affirmation may say, I will take my lunch to work today instead of going to a fast food, or I will, increase my 401k contributions instead of, not doing that and taking the money and doing something else. So just different money affirmations to just like, keep myself motivated, to keep others motivated, to give other like tips and tricks and techniques that people may not have thought of and that they can utilize to help them in their, debt-free journey.
Yes, and I like that. I like how you say things that people may not have thought of because it's just really just thinking outside of the box. What
Absolutely.
sacrifices? We get so afraid when we say sacrifices, but just small sacrifices, even if that just means contributing just a little bit more to the 401k that will reward us in the future, or
Yeah.
deciding to cook for ourselves rather than doing takeout.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you so much for what you're doing. So let me ask you this. What was the defining moment for you to take Dave Ramsey's advice, live like no one else, so in the future you can live like no one else?
I have a mentor, and she's the one who actually introduced me to Dave Ramsey. Like I tell people all the time, like, in school we have like a guidance counselor or we have an advisor, right? And sometimes when you get out of school, people they don't have mentors, but it's good to have mentors, and it's okay to have a mentor for different areas of your life. So you may have a mentor for your finances, a mentor for your personal life, a mentor for your fitness goals, different things like that. So my mentor introduced me to Dave Ramsey, and I read the book, and I'm like, okay, like, and it's proven, right? It's
Yeah.
proven that he has helped so many people get out of debt. So I'm like, let me do this plan. Instead of trying to make my own plan up, let me just follow this plan that, millions of Americans have implemented, and it has helped them, either get out of debt or decrease their debt. Let me do this because I know I have student loans. I know I have
Mm.
car loan debt. I know I have credit card debt, and I just don't want to live a life just full of debt, because when you have debt, you know what that means? You have to work
Yeah.
all out. You have to go, right? You can't do all the vacations. You can't, do all the things you want to do because you have this debt and you need to get it paid off. Or
Yeah.
at least that's how I look at it. Everyone views debt a little differently, but that's how I view it. I view it as me owing someone, and I don't want to owe anyone, even the government. I don't want to owe anyone.
Mm-mm. Honestly, everyone does have their different perspective on debt. I know people actually have friends that are like, student loans, what's that? So basically they know that they have student loans. They're like, I never intended on paying those off. Like, so people really do have their own different views on it. But I just really think about financial freedom, and owing someone money does not feel good to me.
Absolutely.
And then also when you work so hard and you have to give a lot of your money away and give it back to some sort of institution rather than for things that for I'll just speak for myself, things I want to do like travel and experience other parts of the world and just invest in myself in more education or something like that. Yeah, so I do really appreciate that perspective. Also, have you heard of Financial Peace University? Have you
Yes.
heard?
So I took the Financial Peace University. I've taken it twice actually. One time I did it by myself. The second time I did it with my church. And my
Okay.
plan in the future, once I am debt free, I would love to teach the course through my church as well. But I have done the course and absolutely love it. Like watching the videos, having the workbook, having the pen and paper, writing down the notes, and just like I said, following the steps, following the plans. And it's nice to be in a group because then you can have this open dialogue and have that conversation about, okay, what are you doing, or how's this going, or do you have any tips for me to do this, or how have y'all been managing this? So that's nice to do the Financial Peace University in a group so you can have those conversations.
Now, someone here, and I like how you touched on community, because there's so much power and healing, really, financial healing in community. But someone here in the audience asked, "Have you looked into Dr. Lynn Richardson?"
Oh, I've never heard of Dr. Lynn Richardson. Let me write that down right now. No.
Yes, yes. No, I haven't heard of Dr. Lynn Richardson either. You got to tell us more about Dr. Lynn.
Yes.
Um, so, can you tell us a bit about the steps that you took to pay off your credit card and car loan debt?
Absolutely. So I would say the first step, I always say, is increasing my income. So I was working full time, so 40 hours a week at an inpatient rehab, but I was also doing PRN work on the weekends. So literally, it was like weeks where I would work like 14 days straight. 16 days straight, like nonstop, right? In order to increase my income so that I could pay off my debt. A lot of sacrifices. I tell people all the time, like, I have missed so many baby showers, birthday parties, trips to Jamaica, Mexico, weddings, all this simply because I had to work in order to increase my income to pay off my debt. I have sacrificed like not eating out, right? Cooking meals that I had at home. Dave Ramsey always says, rice and beans, like literally having meals like that, or maybe if I did go to a restaurant, like I was ordering water instead of getting Sprite. So I was literally making every little cut I could. A biggest thing that I did to help me pay off my debt was I moved back in with my mom. So, I mean, I was 27 years old living with my mom, and I love my mom, and she loves me. But two adults living in the same household is very, very challenging. But that's a sacrifice that I made so that I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to pay a light bill. I didn't have to pay internet, all the bills that come with having your own house or having your apartment. So that really, really helped me throw a lot of my money to my debt. Also, like with my 401k, I did not contribute a lot. I think back then, maybe like 2%, even though my hospital was matching up to 4%. But I was like, no, I don't want to contribute this much. Like, I want to contribute less and, take that extra money and put it towards my debt. So
Yeah.
I'm every single day, I'm making just like these different sacrifices in order to, keep the money in house to give back to the student loans and car and credit card.
Oh, okay. So, one huge question rolling through my mind is how did you stay so focused and so committed to this journey?
I am very disciplined in all areas of my life. Very, very disciplined. Like, I'm the speech therapist, so where like every day I get to work at 6 in the morning, but that's because I'm up at 4. I'm doing my devotional. I'm going to the gym. Then I'm going to work. So I feel like just me being disciplined in other areas of my life, it just kind of fell over into the area of me being disciplined with my money. And I knew that I did not want to stay with my mom forever. I knew that I wanted to get this debt taken care of, and it was possible. It was possible. Like, I'm looking at my salary, I'm looking at all my income, I'm looking at my debt, and I'm just like, girl, you have the money to pay this off. You
Mhm,
can do it, but it's just about doing it,
mhm,
just doing
mhm.
it.
One thing I'm thinking about, and because I'm thinking about how you said that you chose like 14 weeks, you would work 14 days a week.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking about because I know you come from a Christian background as well. And so there's a huge emphasis on the Sabbath and even just working, like choosing a day off to just not do anything. So how did you balance that, or at least just try to take time for yourself?
Yeah, so that was challenging. That was very challenging. Thankfully, like the church I attend, like they have service at 4:30 on Sundays. So I would make sure, like, if I got to work at 6, like by 4 o'clock, I'm off work so I can get to church, right? So I was making sure that I was still going to church on Sundays. Now, did I have Sabbath days? Not really. Not really. But guess what? Now that I'm like past paying off the credit cards, past paying off the car, now I do have time to be like, okay, I have this day. Tuesday is going to be my Sabbath day, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to rest. But I can do that now because I am debt free, But I
Yeah.
just felt like I couldn't really do that before.
Yeah, and that I do also like that mindset. You're like, I can do that now because I'm debt free.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it is one thing to rest, but to be able to rest and be like, I don't have to work today. Like, why would I work? I actually just don't have to work.
It's
Yeah, that's a gift. So I know that you have your brand. You go by T Slater across the board, right? Okay. First of all, I'm already thinking, I'm sure you know of the budgetnista. Her name is also Tiffany.
yes, yep,
You're
yep.
like the budgetnista of speech pathology for real.
Mhm.
I hope that you own that brand. But what are some common mistakes that you notice people who are in your audience making when it comes to your money?
Um, I feel like a lot of people, in which I did this prior to, we spend more than we actually earn.
Mm.
And we do that because we have these credit cards. So we feel like, oh, I can go to the store and, go to Victoria's Secret, swipe this credit card for these pennies and these bras, and I'll just pay it back when the billing cycle starts over or at the end of the month, right? And then that happens and you don't pay it off. And we all know if you don't pay off your credit card when the, cycle ends, interest is gain to that, and so it makes it more. So you're spending more now for these pennies and bras than what you really spent in the beginning. So I feel like a lot of people, we take those credit cards and we just swipe. Oh, I'm getting points for the airline every time I swipe, or oh, I'm getting points for a free gift card, and just swipe. But it's just like you're not paying off the credit card. So then you end up, you're paying more for these products than what you did in the beginning. So I think that's the biggest thing,
Mm.
those credit cards.
Those credit cards. Because when I hear you even talk about it, you have such passion in your voice and your inflection, like, look, y'all, you're actually not benefiting from using the credit cards in this way. So what is just one thing that you really would want us to know, people who are making those financial mistakes? What is something that you want us to know to make that mindset shift?
Yeah, so just know that it's not normal well, it is normal to be in debt, but it's not normal to be in debt, right? So, I mean, you may have a lot of people around you that, are in debt. So you may think, oh, it's okay. Like my mom's in debt, my grandpa's in debt, my sister and cousin. But just know, like, you can be the one, you can change that, and you can be the one that, be the first one that your friends and family know that are debt free. Like it's absolutely possible. I would definitely recommend like reading Dave Ramsey's book, right? Or just reading any type of book that talks about kind of like the money and your mindset. Because it's really, I feel as if it's an easy shift. It's an easy shift. Yes, it may be hard to kind of break some of those habits that you have with money, but to just like read the information, process the information, just see like it's simple, it's plain, it's right there. You just have to do it, and you can do it. You can absolutely do it.
That's so sweet. I am looking here at Shelly. Yes, Shelly, she's in our audience and she's saying that Dr. Lynn Richardson is on YouTube. She's all about having a home-based business, getting more money and hiring your children and more. So, okay, yeah, I definitely heard that hiring your children hack as well.
Yes, yes.
So, what advice would you like to give young professionals aspiring to make a positive impact in the field of SLP while also managing their personal finances effectively?
Absolutely. So I would probably tell just any young, professional, especially a speech language pathologist, that you can have a very successful professional career. You can have a very successful financial life. You just have to set those long term goals, just like we set them for our patients, our clients, the students. Create a long term goal, right? Then, after you create that long term goal, create the short term goal. After you create the short term goal, list out those steps that you need to do in order to achieve, the short term goal and the long term goal. For our patients, I say we look at research articles, right, to learn about different evidence based, approaches, methods that we can utilize, to help our patients reach their goals. And it's research articles out there about money, right? Go read them. Books, we read books in undergrad and grad school about voice disorders, swallowing disorders. Well, there are books out there about money. Go to a local library, go to a Barnes and Noble, pick up a book, right? Read a book about money. It's absolutely possible to do both, to be have a very successful professional life, be successful with your finances. You just have to make the sacrifices, have the discipline, to do the research and actually implement what you are reading so that you can be, successful. And that's for all areas of your life, spiritual life, emotional, health, physical, everything. Same thing, just creating the goals and writing the plan and working it out.
And I like how a few things came to my mind. First of all, I'm thinking about a speech pathologist, especially if you're working in the schools or with kids. Teachers pay teachers. that is like the go-to for materials. So just like how we'll be so quick to go on Boom Cards or TPT to have an activity to help our clients or students reach their goals, we can do the same thing for us. So I do thank you for stressing on Dave Ramsey. Also, anyone listening to this, if you don't resonate with Dave Ramsey, because some people really do not agree with Dave Ramsey. He's really, the rice and beans.
Yeah.
I know personally I'm cringing. I'm like, no. But there is Tiffany, I don't know what her last name is, but the budgetnista. I like her. What did she say? She says to the penny, like setting your budget to the penny.
Mhm.
And that really resonates with me. So maybe it's not rice and beans, but if I really want to have this amount of budget for my fun money or my eating out money, that's got to be to the penny. And if I'm going over that, then some adjustments need to be made.
Right.
Um, but honestly, I do like the idea, Tiffany, of what you're telling us with being disciplined from the very beginning,
Mhm.
using the evidence-based practice approach for this because it is proven. You're right here in front of us right now today telling us that it is possible to be debt free. How long did it take you, by the way, to reach the car goal of $6,000?
So I think the car goal, it was like 5 weeks. But let me tell you why it was 5 weeks.
Okay.
Because I had paid off my credit card debt.
Mm.
No longer sending, money to Best Buy and Walmart and all these places. So it was like I got an increase, right? Because now I can keep my money that I, earn. So then I was able to just throw so much at my car loan. So yeah, within like 5, 6 weeks, it was like it was gone. I was like, wow.
Wow, that is such. How did you treat yourself? How did you reward yourself?
Yes, so I that's another thing. I do not have any designer bags, none at all whatsoever. I was like, how old was I? 28. And so I treated myself by buying myself a YSL bag. And now every time I wear that bag, it reminds me, like, girl, you did that.
You
Like
did
you
that.
hard, you earned that bag. So yes.
Mhm, and now you could really feel like you earned that bag.
Yes.
'Cause I've had seasons where I was not financially stable, and I still was like, "Let me go ahead and get the bag. Imma get the bag anyway." You know what I mean? And so I know I'm speaking to so many people. I don't know if you've read the book, The Psychology of Money?
No, I've never heard that one. Look, let me write that one down too.
Yes, yes. I think you would love this book. So basically, anyone in the audience too here listening, The Psychology of Money is such a great book because we convince ourselves to have these poor spending habits, buy things that we really don't need, just so we can look flashy or just so we can look the part, when really we're putting ourselves in debt for the sake of other people showing our worth, basically. So we attach our worth to it. Yeah, so I appreciate that for sure. Um,
Yes.
just a few more questions for you, Tiffany. So, what are some more money mindset techniques that you can give clinicians who feel it's impossible to save with the income that they have?
Absolutely. So I would say look for part-time jobs or side gigs. So let's say you do not want to work anywhere like with speech for your side gig. Okay, that's fine. So I personally did Uber, like I drove for Uber. That was one of my side gigs. I have girlfriends now who drive for DoorDash because with these apps, one, you can get paid the same day, which is really nice. And then two, you can hop on and hop off however often you want to. It's not like you have a set schedule for it. I have my cousin, she does Instacart, like she works her 9 to 5 job, and then she gets off and she does Instacart for like an hour, 2 hours every day. Some other things, like I just got on Poshmark because my cousin, she does it, and that's how she makes extra income. And I'm like, let me try this. Even taking clothes to like Plato's Closet to get extra income, having a yard sale to get extra income. I feel like it's a lot of kind of little jobs or little things like that that you can do to
Mhm,
increase your income and just take that money, send it right to the credit card company, send it right to the car loan company, send it right to the student loans. Um, and
mhm.
then, those are a few different ways to increase your income.
What I'm hearing is really just be creative with it. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, be creative with it because you could even have fun doing the Poshmark. Poshmark never worked for me, but I think I just had to work on my sales skills and taking pictures and everything like that. But there are people who I know have a whole part-time living off
Yeah.
of Poshmark alone. And I'm just like, how do y'all do that? So I still recommend it. I think it's just me, honestly, that kind of work.
Yeah, get the right title and the pricing and everything, and knowing what seasons to sell different clothing options. Absolutely.
Yes, and actually, I also want to add to that because there's some book that I know it's called Not Your Money. There's other money mindset books where it talks about like the energy of money and takes like a more spirituality perspective of money. And
Yeah,
one thing I know is decluttering and getting rid of clothes that you don't need. And so selling clothes is actually a great way to do that while also getting money in return and other just benefits in return is good.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's really coming to my mind. So, can you share with us a bit about what changes you would like to see in the field when it comes to money mindset?
Wow, what changes? Let me say this first. I feel like our field we need more undergraduate programs. We need more graduate programs, and within those programs, we need to have more conversations about money, about the cultural like differences, about the different perspectives, values, views, different things like that, so that like these open conversations and dialogues that we're having, so that it'll benefit the students that are there, right? And then they can share that. So I would love just to see our field um, grow in, black and brown individuals. I don't know. It's a lot of things that I feel like our field is just lacking. That if you and I continue doing what we're doing, I feel like it'll bring more awareness, right? It'll push our field forward. But it's going to take a lot of effort and
Mhm.
parts, right?
Yes. I mean, honestly, Tiffany, what I love so much about your brand is that you're shameless with it.
Yeah.
Well, and so I think that that's what it will really take because 'cause we're not the only ones who have had debt in our lives or have been professionals with debt, and I think that because no one is talking about it, there's not a lot of solutions being made. So
Absolutely.
you're probably one of the few speech pathologists I know, speech pathologists of color and speech pathologists in general, which is
Yeah.
really saying a lot, who talk about money and who talk about money mindset. It's you and this woman, Danny, from Speech Goods. I don't know if you're familiar with Speech Goods. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
So just you two. So I'm so excited that you came on the show today to spread awareness. Where can we find you if you want to find out more about your brand? If we want to hop on your challenge, your money affirmation challenge, and anything else in between.
Yes, so my Instagram is t.slater. That's t.slater. On TikTok, my handle is the same at t.slater. My Twitter, I'm actually on Twitter too, is at tslater underscore. And my email address is tslaterinquiries@gmail.com.
Okay, at T Slater underscore for the Twitter. Okay. We do have Alice here. Ooh, okay. So Alice is telling us there are a few comments in here. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have not been in the chat. Okay, so Miss Alice is saying she also has a Poshmark. She sells bags and boots. It's called Divas Down for Sale. Period, Alice. I love that. We do. Shelly says, okay, here's a question for us. She received a refund for an astronomical amount of money and cannot give it back. What should she do? Should she pay off her credit card debt, start an emergency fund, or start a savings account?
So Dave Ramsey recommends for step one is to save for the emergency fund. And so his recommendation is $1,000 for that emergency fund. So I would say if you're following his practice, go ahead and put that money in your emergency fund. Absolutely. But if you already have like a pretty, or let's say you only need like $100 to, get to your 1,000, then you could take the rest of that money and start paying off like the credit cards. So when I paid off my credit cards personally, I went with the lowest balance to the highest balance just because I needed to see it go away in order to keep me motivated. Some people like to target the one with the highest interest rate, which makes the most sense because that's the one that's gaining a lot of interest every single month. And y'all, one of my credit cards, it was like 27%. Like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I think it was like my TJ Maxx credit card. So that's another option you can do. Go with the credit card that has the highest interest rate. It's just whichever one you think will work best for you. But like I said, like mentally, I needed to see it go, so I just did the lowest balance.
And I have heard the highest interest amount, but normally it's the highest interest amount with the biggest balance, and so
Mhm.
it seems even more intimidating. Um,
Very.
yeah, so that's a very good question, and also congratulations on that astronomical amount of money refund that you got. I will also say one thing. I just listened to a money podcast, and they were talking about how she set an emergency fund and she was so thankful for herself for putting money aside faithfully
Mhm.
because then all of a sudden her car broke down and it was like an $1,800 repair. And even though it hurt, like it sucked to have to give away $1,800, she
She,
had the money, right? So it really didn't hurt. It was just like, dang, I'm giving away $1,800, but she had it. She
yeah,
wasn't, and she was able to drive her car
good.
quicker.
Yeah. And a car is a necessity, especially if you work or if you have kids. So yes.
Yes, yes. So thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming on the show today. I hope to have you back and to stay
Absolutely.
in contact and just keep spreading the word of money mindset and awareness and everything in between in our
Yes,
field.
certainly. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Mel.
Yes, thank you. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us live. Those joining the replay, thank you for coming on the show for this conversation. Tune in next time. I'll be talking to Chelsea House about disability awareness and intersectionality. Thank you all. Bye, fam.